Hey everyone, I hope you're all well on this blustery but beautiful day. So this session that I'm doing with you all today is especially for those of you who want to be fulfilling your utmost potential, bringing all of your true, unique, divine gifts to the world in the form of being some kind of facilitator that's helping other people. And in a way where you feel completely at ease and at home and confident. So in the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to take you through this journey of how you can go from being quite stuck and feeling quite held back and disempowered to this place when you're in your full alignment and your flow. So by the end of this session, you can make a plan and you can move forward with your life in an unstoppable way. So I'm sharing this specifically for you guys out there who really need this the most, because I know that there are so many of you who have so much potential and passion and ability to help a lot of people. And the world needs that right now. The more of us who are fulfilling our true potential and really stepping up as facilitators, as leaders, the better. And there's just so many of you who aren't fully doing that, who aren't fully actualizing because something's holding you back. So this is those of you who, for instance, you've got masses of talents, you've got skills, you've spent years gaining various experiences and really honing what your unique essence is about. But you can't seem to bring it all together into the one thing that you're truly meant to be doing, or you just can't seem to bring it out, and you feel maybe disempowered by the way that the world is, that maybe you feel like it's just so hard, like this world is so abrasive and rigid, and it just feels very disempowering, like you can't penetrate it. You may have tried various different projects and work with different things, but they never quite feel aligned. Like they don't ever feel like it's this one thing that is your gift to bring through. So it's just frustrating and you keep letting it go. And maybe you're okay with what you're doing already, so you try to feel happy about it, but you know deep in your heart that it's not the thing that you're really meant to be doing. So you just can't fully enjoy life. And no matter what you do, no matter how beautiful your life is in many different ways, you can never fully feel happy or fulfilled because you know deep in your heart that there's something else that you're meant to be doing. There's something else that you're meant to be bringing and being and showing up with in the world. So ultimately, it's like, you know that you're meant to step up to this whole other level of actualization with who you are, where you're in a leadership role and you're helping to facilitate other people, you're helping to help other people to transform and heal or whatever it may be, but you just can't seem to break through. It's as if there's some kind of glass wall in front of you, and everything that you're doing just never seems to be able to get through that glass wall, and it's just really frustrating. So you can break through that glass wall. It just means that certain shifts have to take place in your consciousness, and they are quite major shifts that need to happen in your consciousness to break through that wall. And so there could be many, many details and many Facebook Lives that go into the different levels within these major shifts. But I feel confident that in you knowing what these 4 major shifts are, that you can then reach a place where you feel more at ease and you feel confident, so that you can bring your greatest potential to the world and help people in the way that is your unique blueprint to do so, where you're standing out, being valued and feeling comfortable, making a living from it. For those of you who don't know who I am, I've been in a facilitation role for 15 years in various different settings, working with groups and with individuals in a clinical setting, ceremonial, working with coaching, etc. And primarily I work with people to help them come into their wholeness and their empowerment, and to just make the shifts in their energy and in their consciousness in order to help them fulfill their purpose and live their dream, just basically be who they are and what that means as a natural reflection of that. And I've started to train people now in how to become facilitators. So aside from the actual skills and practices that people need to learn in order to become the brilliant facilitators that they're meant to be, it's mainly psychological shifts. It's these shifts in consciousness and energy that need to happen. So here is what they are. So the four major ones are, number one is to liberate your consciousness, is to literally just get your head straight. And this comes down to a lot of the stuff that I've talked about before in different posts, etc., because it's so easy for us to kind of see the world, see life as this kind of physical, solid, established thing that we can't penetrate into. That it feels like it's just this kind of rigid, resistant thing, and that who we are, unless we fit into those rigid rules of reality, that we can't access the flow, we can't bring our gifts into the world. But for those of you who remember, for those of you who are tuned into the kind of spiritual perspective of life as everything as just energy held together by consciousness, stop forgetting it. Literally stop forgetting it, because this reality is so much more malleable than you think. It's completely responsive to the signals that you're sending out. And it's really important to free your consciousness from seeing it as this thing outside of ourselves that we cannot penetrate, that we cannot influence in any other way, and that we have to live by the narratives and the rules that have been placed, that we see as these kind of solid anchors around us, when actually it is just a kind of narrative. It is just a kind of a play, and you can create your own play. You can create your own reality within that. And you've probably heard that so many times before, but it's true. And our minds can just get imprisoned by this sense of not being able to work with that. So it's really important to stop taking life so seriously and live as if you are actually completely free, and that you are able to really create according to your own rules and your own imagination. And a part of that is getting airtight as well with regards to other people's judgment, because it's always the sense of what other people are going to think, what other people are going to discern or judge you as for stepping out with your own reality and your whole unique way of being and what you're bringing forward in life. What are other people going to think? What are people going to say? Are they going to accept you? Da, 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 da. The thing is, it's not about them. Like, even if people are going to judge you, it was never about them. It's about you. And ultimately, if you have some kind of spiritual belief, it's about you and the divine. It's never about anybody else. It's just about you and what you know you're meant to bring forward. And you have to be completely airtight and to not let anything else in your field. And even if you don't have a kind of higher spiritual belief, it doesn't matter, because it's still about you and the game that you're playing. It's still about you within your own rights to be a completely free person, to be completely liberated, and to just move through life according to your own rules. So you need to get airtight, basically. You need to liberate yourself and get airtight. Get your head straight. And you know, anybody who has been really successful, whether it's been a coach or a facilitator, or whether it's some other kind of business person, they've only managed to get successful once they've reached this point of having zero doubt. Because you're always going to have doubts. There's always going to be doubts. Your mind is full of doubts. That's never going to end, but it's about not letting them in. It's getting to that point where you have no more time to doubt anything. You have no more time to think of all the reasons why you can't do something. You have to literally just get it all out of your field, be completely free within the reality that you want to create, and move forward in that place. And then the universe reality starts to respond to that, because then you're transmitting a different kind of signal. So just imagine that everything is totally okay, that the universe completely has your back, and that you cannot go wrong if you are tuned in and you're responding to your truth. So that's number one, liberate yourself and get your head straight. Number two, once you've then cleared that space so that there's no clouds, there's no poisonous ideas coming into your field affecting what it is that you're actually genuinely feeling and what actually genuinely wants to come through. Once that field is completely clear, you then need to get real and get your purpose straight. Because most of the time, you know, we're not actually bringing forward the thing that you're really meant to be doing, because you've infected it with all of these different fears, with all of these different ideas about what you should be doing, what other people think you should be doing, what would be a good idea, what's acceptable within the limitations of this reality that you've subscribed to, which you don't need to subscribe to. So you need to actually be really honest with yourself in that space of complete freedom. What is your purpose? And a lot of you have heard me talk about this a lot, because I focus a lot on what is your truth, what is your genuine vision, what is your genuine purpose. It's always something that just really feels right, that just feels good, where you feel whole and you feel empowered when you imagine fulfilling that role, when you imagine stepping forward in that way. You get a whole sense of coherence within your whole being, that is right. And suddenly all those other good ideas that you had, all those other things that were maybe almost there, that were just about there, that were related, suddenly fall away, because they don't compare to this thing. And, you know, a lot of the time people are like, oh, I just don't know what that is. But I find with a lot of clients that, and I found it with myself, that you do know what it is. And maybe you just haven't allowed yourself to see it. And it can be like this kind of layer, like there's this kind of, I kind of see it as like there's this sort of photograph, this kind of layer there in my heart, that it's just sitting right there, like you can see it if you actually look at it. You know, you might always get like a vision, like a flash, a kind of an image, a sense, something that you see yourself doing, or it feels a certain way, or you just get a kind of an essence of something, but you continually ignore it. It's like it's right there all the time, and yet you end up thinking, oh, what should I do? I could do this, and you have all these ideas about things, and you're just completely ignoring this thing that is just lying right there, waiting for you to see it. So once you allow yourself to be really, really honest and see what it is, it's something that you're willing to fight for. You know, it's something that you will do anything for, that you'll fight for, that you'll give up anything else for. And it's never going to be enough that it's just a good idea, or that it's going to make you lots of money, or that it's going to help lots of people. Like, none of those reasons, as worthy as they are valid enough to make you bring that thing into life. So that's how it has to feel. That's when you know that you've hit the right mark. And it could be that, you know, you wanting to step up as a facilitator to help people in a certain way. Like, that might not be this end goal. That might not be the end vision, but it might be an important step towards that end vision that makes you do everything for, that you will do whatever you need to do. You will make the changes that you need to make. You will, you know, you'll just do what you need to do in order to reach that vision. So you need to find what that is and hold it close to your heart, because it's the most precious thing. So once you've cleared your space, you've liberated yourself, and you've got your head straight, and you've got real, and you know what your purpose is, you know the way that you're meant to work with other people. The third thing then is to actually make a commitment. You need to actually get your energy and your action straight. Because a lot of people, this is where they fall down. It's like, we can be full of excuses. We can be full of reasons why we don't then end up doing something. Okay, you've got your head straight and you've got your purpose straight, but then you don't actually commit to doing it because you don't have the time, you don't have the money, maybe you don't feel well enough, you feel tired all the time, or there's certain things going on in your life that just don't feel aligned, and you're waiting for this time where everything feels ready. There's, you know, cosmic alignments, and, you know, suddenly, like, everything just suddenly flows, and you can make that commitment. But in actual fact, the problem is actually just that you haven't committed. It's not any of those things. You just haven't committed yet. You need to make that commitment, and that's like a seismic shift within yourself. When you make that commitment, you can make anything happen. And in making that commitment, so you might have to change the way that you're operating. And it's important to really discern the difference between, you know, who you are, the things that are core to your essence, to your blueprint, and simply the way that you operate, you know, the way that you go about your day. They're very different things. There's who you are, and then the way that you operate, and the way that you live your life, and the schedules and the things that you put into place need to support who you are. And a lot of the time, you know, people who make really beautiful facilitators are people who, for instance, they might be people that are better at being than doing. There's so many of you out there, you're better at being, you're more of a beer. You have more of a feminine energy, or you're empathic, or you're sensitive, or, you know, you're so tuned in to consciousness and what people need, but you're just not very good at getting things done and making things happen. And then it's very easy to think that because that's the sort of person that you are, where you're just more of a beer, that maybe you're not meant to be doing all that doing. Maybe you're not meant to be stepping up in this way and fulfilling this purpose in this way, and really stepping out and shining and making yourself available for more people, because that's just not who you are. And that's a mistake. That is a mistake, because you are meant to be helping other people and being visible and standing out. And it's just that your ways of operating have to now support that way that you are in terms of your being. So you have to make a commitment, and you have to find certain ways to give yourself what you need. So for instance, you might have to move against the inner resistance that just wants to be all the time, and actually create a disciplined schedule for yourself. And a lot of you are like, no, no, not discipline. But you have to find a way. You have to, because it's about being in balance. If you just run with this kind of extreme way of being that you are, you're just simply out of balance. So, you know, whether it's that you have to get up earlier and, you know, make sure that you get certain chunks done during the day, or you have to, I don't know, whatever it is, can't go into that right now, but you might have to go against your natural inclination and give yourself what you need to support your essence. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So these are the main shifts that need to happen, that needs to be calibrated in your consciousness, so that you liberate yourself, to get your consciousness really clear, you get real with yourself, so that then you can bring your purpose through, and you're honest with yourself about what that really is, and you're willing to fight for it. Then you make a commitment, and you get your energy and actions aligned with that. Once you've done those 3 things, the final shift that you need to make is to go pro. You need to get to the next level of your professional practice, whatever that means. So it's then about, okay, you need to get organized, you need to get a system together, you need to organize all of what you have. You need to find support with the areas that you're missing. So whether that's, you know, in marketing, that you need to go and, you know, spend some money on a consultation to get your marketing knowledge aligned, or your accounting, or how you work, or you need extra skills in certain parts of your practice. Do whatever it takes, because people hate spending money on things that are actually essential to who they are and their life here on earth. You know, we hate spending money on our healing, on our health, on our well-being, on our purpose, on our professional development. And yet all of these things are always a bargain. They're always a bargain for you, because what has taken someone their whole life to learn gets delivered to you in a simple little package that you just have to pay some money for and spend, you know, however long it is to learn it. So it's always a massive bargain for you. And even though, you know, probably every single time you've spent money on something for yourself, you've always felt resistance. And probably every time you've never regretted it either. So do what you need to do to take your professionalism to the next level, whether that's getting some coaching for your empowerment, learning some new skills, getting yourself organized, or just having some support from somebody, because it's very difficult, you know, where we're all so isolated and we don't live in community, or we're not doing things together, you're doing your own thing. It's very difficult to stay motivated all the time when you feel so isolated. So even just having one person that's tracking you can make a huge, huge difference. So whenever I have worked with this approach with my clients, I'm often told that it's actually too good, because in making these shifts, they no longer need to work with me, and they no longer need to work with anyone else either. So they are really powerful working in this way, taking these 4 shifts. Now I have delivered to you my promise in half an hour, which was to take you from a place where you may be feeling completely stuck and disempowered and not bringing your full purpose into this world, to now a place where you know exactly what to do in order to bring yourself forward in your fullest potential and live the way that you're actually really meant to live, and help people in the way that you're meant to help them. So are you now going to deliver your promise to yourself? That's the question. So finally, please go to my website, which is unifiedcoherence.com, and check out the full training that I offer, just in case that's what you need next. Otherwise, lots and lots of love to you. And I'm just going to see if there are any questions. Hello, everybody. It's so nice to see you all. Okay, lots of love, everybody. Have a really beautiful evening. Goodbye.